Today we are going to talk about this engine issue on GM. It's very popular and I have a lot of discussions going on online. The symptoms vary from vehicle to vehicle. This car has one of the symptoms that we are going to discuss today in this video. The issue is, and then we will duplicate it in a second. The issue is when you start the engine in idle after running it for a few minutes, and then you get to see the flashing check engine light, StableTrack control warning on your dashboard. At that point, you start getting rough idle, and then driving is not recommended at that point, especially when the engine light is flashing. So let's go ahead and read the codes, check the issue, and see if we can resolve it today. So first I'm gonna start the car. And once I started, in a few minutes we will be able to duplicate the issue, and then we will start also reading the codes on my code reader right here. So now we see that the check engine light is on, and then it's gonna sit for a couple minutes, and then we will start seeing the Stabilitrak control warning on the dash, and then this check engine light will start flashing. So let's just give it a second here, and while we are looking at the dashboard, I'm gonna go ahead and scan the codes. The code that I'm looking at is not the trouble code. I'm gonna look at the data stream. It's loading here. Okay, so right now we are looking at the live data from the engine or from the car ECU. The thing that I wanted to look at is the short-term fuel trim on bank 1, and then the long-term, and then the short-term fuel trim on bank 2. As you saw, it was given some values, and then it did went to 0 at this point. So let's just leave this aside now, and then we are going to take an overall look at the intake manifold threshold, and then engine RPM is fluctuating, and then what I'm gonna look at is the oxygen sensor here. So I want to just check the data here. This is the bank 1 S1, and then we have the other one, bank 1 S2. I want you to take a note of these two oxygen sensors. This vehicle has 4 of them, and then here's another oxygen sensor on bank 2, and then this one is bank 2 as well. So we have 4 oxygen sensor readings going on here, and then we also looked at the short-term fuel trim data here, which went to 0. By the way, I did warm the engine before I start the video, because when the engine is cold, the issue would take about 30 minutes or between 15 to 20 minutes. So I did warm up the engine, and then so I can get ready for the video, and then I don't waste you guys' time. So we were getting readings on the short-term fuel trim, and then now we are, the only thing we're seeing is 0, and there you go. Now this is the error message that we are getting along with the flashing check engine light. I hope you guys can see it. So service stability track control, and this code is actually associated with flashing check engine and associated with misfires or any other components, faulty sensors on the vehicle. And then I can feel the vehicle is shaking, and then idle is running rough. The interesting thing is we are now running on open loop fault, which is on the fuel system 1 and then fuel system 2. So all the data, all the readings are gone now. This is an indication, and then you can see this keep coming up. This is an indication that we are not running in a closed loop. So engine running in open loop could be an issue with anything associated with the air or fuel. So say your intake, now we are on closed loop, so it's coming back and forth, and then the warning disappeared. It's going to come back in a second, and we will jump to an open loop, which is not what we are expecting. So anything associated with air intake, with the air leak, I did check with the smoke machine. I didn't have any air leak. The throttle body, seal is not good, or you have any faulty oxygen sensors. So see, open loop at fault. Zoom into that data flow waveform and see if it's running steady, or are we getting any minus values. So as you can see, it's fluctuating, running straight. This is bank 1, and then it's going all the way down to 0. We are here at 1, so this is 0.8, 0.5, 0.4, 0.2, and then to 0. So for me, this is an indication. If you can look at the warning over there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and see, and then every time it goes to 0, that warning, service StableTrack warning is coming back on the dashboard. So, but it's recommended that we change oxygen sensors in pairs. This is what I hear. But I'm gonna go ahead and replace all oxygen sensors. And then right now we have an original equipment. It's GM original equipment. These are the oxygen sensors. This is the part number from GM. We have 4 of them, and I believe those are AC Dilco, if I'm not mistaken. I would recommend that when you remove this, try not to touch the head of the oxygen sensors. Try just holding it from here and install it. So looks pretty good, brand new. Let's see if it's gonna help and fix our problem. Okay, so taking a look here at the engine, there will be 3 main steps that we will perform, in addition to already replacing the ignition coils and the spark plugs with the original AC Dilco parts. However, this step did not resolve the issue at all. Now the 3 main steps we are going to take is, first we will be replacing the lower and the upper intake gaskets. Let me show you how they look like. So this is the lower intake gasket, and then this part is the upper intake gasket. A lot of people miss to replace that, and it's the one that causes lots of issues. And then the other step is to clean the intake valves. We will go ahead and go through the procedure to clean it, and also, like I mentioned, we will be replacing all the oxygen sensors, the O2 sensors. With that, hopefully we can get this issue resolved. So with that said, let's go ahead and start it. This is the tool that I picked up off of Amazon for $20, and it's what I'm going to use for to take that oxygen sensor out. So there is one here and one down below, if you can see it down there, and then there is two, one before the catalytic inverter, I believe, or by your exhaust. So just remove this lock and lift this up, and then we're gonna pull on the switch. It is recommended that you run the engine for a few minutes, so the heat will let you remove this easily instead of fighting with it. And then I'm going to try this piece here. That's my AC Dilco oxygen sensor. Get that tool in there, just like so. And I'm gonna just try to carefully remove it. I would probably need more leverage, so I'm gonna bring my other ratchet. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this. Just be careful with it. Oh, there you go. Alright, now we can just remove it. It's a little bit hot, so I'm gonna just turn it carefully. I don't have my gloves on. Thing turns forever. There you go. So it looks pretty bad. Totally burned on one side. But anyway, we'll replace this. We had to take the exhaust out so we can get this one. Was stuck. These are the tools that I had, and I wasn't able to get it out. Now it's out. Let me just zoom in. So I did replace the oxygen sensor, the one on top, the one on the bottom. There's one underneath over there, but the fourth one I didn't replace, which is kind of like in between the exhaust and the engine. I couldn't reach it. I'm going to show you how to clean the intake chambers. Those ones are the ones that showing us a code for misfire. Even after replacing the ignition coils and the spark plugs, we still get the misfire on this chamber in particular. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to clean it. Before we start, I have done already this one, and that one. So we are going to do the last two ones in the front. Let me just show you how they look like before the cleaning You see how dirty this thing is, all full of and it's pretty much clogged. This one as well, the same thing. And let me show you how they supposed to look when we get them cleaned. Something like this, or maybe even better. Okay, so let's get started. So the product that I picked up today, I got it from Walmart. I haven't used it before. Lucas parts cleaner and degreaser. It says in here that we can use it to clean the intake chambers. So let's see how well they do. So first thing I'm already using this can. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and spray around the chamber, get it soaked with the product, and then I'm gonna grab my drill with a brush, and then I will just start working it out gently. And then I'm going to spray more product. And you already kind of see the dirt is coming out of there. So I'll continue to do this for a couple minutes, back and forth, left and right, and then I'm going to give it more solution. And now I'm going to use a piece of rug, and this is kind of like new one, so I can show you how much oil we can get out of this with this cleaning procedure. So let's give it another twist, because it dries fast, so you want to always spray a little bit on it. And then I'm just looking for my screwdriver, if I can find it. There you go. And then I'm just gonna wrap this around it just like so, and push it in, kind of work it out, in and out, in and out, trying to get all the dirt, all the oil build up out of the chamber. And then we will, there you go, and then we will kind of continue to do the same procedure. We will take a look at it, see how much. It's not clean yet, so we can like put more solution in there, and then continue round 2 with the drill, or round 3, and just gently move it around, and then more product, continue with it. And let's see, this one is this piece of rug is done already, so let's see, push it in, kind of push it in, and then pull it up so it scratches all the surfaces and get what's left from the oil out. And as you guys can see, in 1 minute we got this much of the build-up oil, and then we'll continue with it round 3, more product, and then again with the drill. And then we'll push this, hopefully the last time. Just push it in, then continue in and out, in and out. And this thing is dirty as hell, so I think it should be good now. Last time spray, and then let's take a closer look and see if we were successful with the cleaning this time. So looks a lot better. I'm gonna continue 1 more round or 2 more rounds to get this thing completely cleaned and to make it look more like this one. Now we want to talk about the intake gasket. So once you remove your intake manifold from your vehicle, there is another gasket other than this one that needs to be replaced. Let me just show you here. So we took the intake manifold out, we did the cleaning, and then we have this one. We have those gaskets, needs to be replaced as well. So these ones, and then the way you get to this is by removing 4 bolts here. They're hand tight, and you can just remove them with a screwdriver. And then once you do that, you get a screwdriver, and as you can see here, there are little spaces around this intake part that you can utilize to put a screw in there and just try to get underneath from all corners gently, from the front and the back, and then probably will be able to manually remove it. This top piece, get it cleaned all around the gasket areas, and then these are the gaskets that needs to be replaced. So I'm gonna get them out. They kind of stuck because of the heat, but there you go. You get it out. It's kind of melted in there, and then we'll do some cleaning with a rag and pot cleaner, and then we will be able to place the new gaskets in there, and then we'll go ahead and put this part back on top. Alright folks, so we did replace the the, I would say, the mid layer of the gasket and the intake, and then we replace the upper layers, which is the one that I showed you, the blue ones. And now the car is running. Let me show you. It's been running for 20 minutes. The first 10 minutes I had stability track control warning on the dash, and then engine light was flashing. After a few minutes it did clear itself, and now we're going to take it and test the drive and see if we were able and successful resolving this kind of troubling issue with the flashing check engine light, multiple misfire, lean, the system lean on bank 1, system lean on bank 2, and then the stability track warning that was coming on the dashboard. So let's take it and test the drive and see how it performs this time. Alright folks, so we are on the road. I just got it out of the garage, and I'm kind of driving in like a smooth way. The car with the new sensors and the new oxygen sensors and all the new parts we put in with the gaskets needs to learn how to relearn the values. So I'm just taking my time with it. So far so good. It's been 2 minutes. As you can see, we don't have any codes on the dashboard. It's all cleared out. The car seems to be smooth, except like I said, we did change the spark plug, so we do have a little bit of smoke. This should clear within a couple miles. And then right now I'm gonna try to take it on the highway and see if we can duplicate the issue where we have the flashing check engine light and the stability track warning, or the problem is completely resolved. Now the idle reading is pretty stable. It's steady on 1000. I haven't seen any like I would say vibration in the engine or the car as I used to do before. Just accelerating a little bit right now, excuse me, to see if there is any issues with like the power from the engine as far as air and fuel mixture. And like I said, the codes were telling me that it had a low pressure fuel, and then fuel rail. It did complain about fuel rail. I have all the codes. I can just go through them one by one. And now driving smooth. I'm on 62 miles per hour. I'm gonna take an exit, try to pull over, open the hood and see what's going on under the hood, just to make sure, you know, everything is correct, and then we're gonna take it on another tour on the highway and see if the issue is completely resolved. So I can confirm right now that we never had it running this long without getting those errors. So this is kind of like the first time we are actually on the road with this vehicle, and running smooth, no vibration, no rough idle, and no codes, and also no stability track warning. Alright Alright folks, so I did checked under the hood and I don't see any issue other than a little bit the smoke from I think the W40 that we used to get some bolts loose. So far no issues and still running smooth. Nothing on the dashboard, nothing alarming on the dashboard. The engine heat is looks good, and then still there is no codes. And then right now I've been driving it smooth, try to let the ECU learn the values, and then you know, the traction and the sensing on the system, as we did reset the ECU by taking out the battery leads. And now I'm gonna go again on the highway, try to drive it a little bit more, but as far as I can tell for now, I believe I was able to resolve the issue and the car is back on track. No code and no StableTrack issue. Until next video, you guys take care. Now driven about 20 miles, 15-20 miles, and still running good. No codes, no issues.